Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 16th of January 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Anantagodi Namaskaram to all the great sages and to Bhagavan, residing in the heart of every single being. We are continuing to better understand and unravel the intra-psychic bonding with Bhagavan, with God in general, and one's Ishta Devata or Ishta Swarup in particular. This is the most extraordinary development in life because we know several facts, F-A-C-T-S, facts that are right in front of us. Fact number one, this body that we have, it is a temporary phenomena. It is here for some time, some number of years, and then it will turn to dust. Is it true or not? It is true. Even genetics shows us there are aging genes. Aging continues, aging happens, old age happens, and then the body goes away. Fact number one. Fact number two, every breath, inward breath, outward breath, inward breath, outward breath, that is our life. Sachin takes an inward breath, it releases the outward breath. What guarantee anybody has given me that the next breath I'll be able to take? We don't know what will happen next moment. This is fact number two. Fact number three, we have Shakti. Hamare mein Shakti hai. What exactly is Shakti is a great mystery. A lot of philosophy behind that. We won't go into that. We know internally what it is. That power, that Shakti, that potentiality, that potentiality is our life. That's fact number three. And with these three facts, truths, we have a choice. We can either make our life upward, that is called urdhva, urdhva gaman, making the movement upward, or we can make our life turn downward. There's no other option. So we have a choice. We have the capacity to make a decision every minute, every moment of every day. This is called decision-making capacity. It's very simple. There's nothing hard about this. Decision is to be made. Is my next action, which is verbal, mental, and physical, is my next action taking my life in general, taking it upward, urdhva, or is it taking it downward, adha? That's it. It's simple. Very simple question. There's nothing hard about it. Nothing hard. It's a very, very simple question. The next action I'm going to take, the next series of actions in the next half an hour, 1 hour, in today, is it taking me further in my life, or is it damaging my time, damaging Shakti, damaging Vritti, damaging Bhakti? Is it causing damage? Now, when I ask this question, our ahankar, particularly the negative form of ahankar, it is only interested in causing damage. because it wants to solidify itself to get the experience it wants. But when the ahankar is no longer functioning in its usual way, and it is now being turned towards God, where this Shakti from inside is rejuvenated. That rejuvenation of the Antarik Shakti is where there is bhakti, meaning devotion, using the same Shakti towards Bhagavat Tattva, towards the highest of realization. Many paths are there. Many paths. But first there has to be recognition of my own internal activity that is going on, that is causing degradation. I have to know from the inside out, where is degradation for me? And that is a very foundational step. It's a foundational step. I have to do soul searching. In English we say soul searching. Look at yourself. See yourself. Antar nirikshan. Ye dhyan, it is a great meditation. You can do it at home, do it in a park, do it in some silent place. I mentioned it before. Silence mein jana. Nature mein jana. For silent reflection. Keep a small notebook or keep your notes with you on the phone or whatever. Reflect. We need time to find out where we are degrading ourselves. We don't realize because our vasanas, ahankar, ichha, the other things that are coming up, they're just thrashing us, going in God knows which direction. Right? Isn't it so? Settle it down and find another way to proceed. Find another way to proceed. Try to see some basic truths. That the enjoyments through the sense objects, which includes everything, family, friends, food, trips, clothing, this, that, it includes all experience. The enjoyments that are there, they are limited. They are momentary. They are time bound. They have a beginning and an end. And they cause, they live in memories. And because we remember those enjoyments, we want them again and again and again. And we want them expanded and changed. And to keep expanding them, keep changing them, keep living through them again and again and again and again. It requires energy to do that. And the more energy is used in that pursuit only to keep changing those experiences, which many people try to do if they have the ability to do it. Yes, those experiences are available. But a point may come. There's a realization that comes that running after these experiences is ajnan. How can that be ajnan? Why should that be ajnan? For example, let's just take the example of taking trips. People love to go on vacation, right? Maybe once a year, twice a year. Okay, that's very good, no doubt. But let's say, assume for a moment, a person has massive amount of money. They can tour the world anywhere, everywhere, pretty much. Wherever they want to go, they can high luxury hotels and things like that. Highest level of experience. First class, travel only in first class. Nothing else will do. Stuff like that, right? 7-class, 7-star motels, hotels. That's it. No other kind of life. Topmost living facilities, topmost facilities and enjoyments. Uttam Vishaya. That's it. Assume for a moment a person has that. There are some people who have that. Okay, now what? Let's say you have that. I mean, what's next? Is there anything next? Or just the same? And then eventually, at some point, that will become saturated. You could have a mansion of 50 rooms with swimming pools and gardens and a river in the back. And eventually, day in and day out goes by, it's old ho jata hai. You want something new, something different, something... It never opens the door into ananda. Is that true or not? What do you think about this? Vichar kijiye is par. What people are looking for in the world. This is what they're looking for. They want maximum amount of sexual gratification, which the brain cannot handle, obviously. They will damage the brain in that. They want maximum amount of money to do all of these things, big mansions and trips and all that kind of... And for some time, you do get those flickers of experience. And then it all becomes old. It doesn't remain new and fresh and ever-growing. It does not. And then once these things are there, then status, position, somebody should recognize how great I am, run for political office. The desire for position, because all that other stuff has become ordinary. Even millions of dollars in the bank account. Sab theek hai, ab kya? Somebody should recognize how great I am. Kanchan kamini kirti. Kirti meaning this desire for position, for fame. That opens up. And person seeks that because they've got the other two already. Most people don't get the other two at the highest level. At the highest level, material level. If you get it, it becomes saturated, and then you want position. And if you get position and power, then you want more and more. There's no end to that. And then the life is spent doing that and it's finished. This is called ajnana. It is called bandhan. It is called moha. It is called massive delusion. The word for delusion in Sanskrit is called moha. Satya mein asatya ki bhranti. Asatya mein satya ki bhranti. Gujarati we say. Satya ma asatya ni bhranti. Asatya ma satya ni bhranti. Inu naam moha. That is called moha. And most human beings are stuck, trapped. इसीलिए जो सत्संग करते हैं, आध्यात्मिक मार्ग in any tradition, these three have to be recognized for what they are. Yes, do we need money in life? Obviously. Is there desire for sense enjoyments? Of course. Within a range. Is there position and power in organizations and different organizations, even any organization for the most part, except our angel wing organization? That doesn't have any hierarchy. Other than that, almost everywhere there's a hierarchy. Somebody's up, somebody's down, somebody's this, somebody's telling somebody to do something. Every political organization has hierarchy. Every business organization has hierarchy. Manager, top manager, this manager, vice president, this president, that president. ऐसे मर जाते हैं सब. Or next life is trapped inside the lower life forms. Right now when it's 20 degrees outside, I was hearing some birds. Kitna suffering hai unka. This is what we want? To suffer like this? To wind up in those yonis? That is what will happen. ये जो तीन बात है, कंचन, meaning this endless, higher desire for the panch vishayas, uncontrolled sexuality, and position, power, that will lead the jivatma to obtain bodies in the lower life forms. Bhagavatam says so, Gita says so, Vachanamrut says so, Vedas says so, every great teacher says so, every great we said we have to be very careful कि ये नहीं होना चाहिए. Go outside right now. Right now in Delaware, Newark, Delaware, it's 19 or 20 degrees outside. And there are birds flying around, trying to find food. Is that what we want? Vichar kijiye, what we are doing. We meaning humanity. We think we are wasting our life, literally wasting it, in these three things. Kanchan Kamini Kirti. So let that drop. Do our duty. Keep the right amount of interaction with the people of the world. Unko wish well for them and leave them alone. They're not going to get mukti at all. 99% are not going to. They're not interested in that. They're interested in these three things, and they'll wind up in the lower life form. That's the only destination for them. Maybe some people are doing punyam, they go to Svarga, and then they fall back from there. That's all. Nothing else will happen. Sansar ke saath kuch bhi lena dena nahi. That sthiti is called vairagya. Lena dena means what's it? Interaction. You have to work somewhere. There's a functional interaction. That's it. And the vritti, हमारी जो अंतरकरण की वृत्ति है भगवान के चरणों में, सत शास्त्र, सत्संग में, भगवान का जो स्वरूप है, इष्ट भक्ति, and nothing else. Because this body is a bubble. It can go anytime, in any situation. Anything can happen. Anybody's given a guarantee? Who's given a guarantee? We're looking for security. There's only one security. Yes, we need to functionally live in the world. Wish well for all. Serve the sansar. It's not like you're escaping, but at the same time, recognize that the people of the world are mostly trapped. Well, itne bandhan mein hai, they cannot get out of that unless they are blessed by satsang, by great saints, and they realize that this is a massive trap. ऐसे ही मर जाते हैं. ऐसे ही जीते, somehow they live, and then they create so much trouble for themselves, and then they're finished. And the body becomes old and completely destroyed in the crematory. Burned away. Rakhna padika, Gunatitanand Swami kehte. Rakhna padika. Rakh means ash. Swami kehte hai Gunatitanand ji. Prakriti Purush Sadi Rakhna padika. All the different beings, all the way up to Prakriti and Purush, everything is just ash. Isko kehte hai Gnyan. We live in the world, but with this realization, it is absolutely anitya. Anitya. It is temporarily only there. It is not nitya. Nitya meaning eternally existing. This is the reality. Whether we like it or not, accept it or not, this is the reality. So why not accept it? Why not recognize it? And make our life absolutely in link with God, with Bhagavan. And we serve the world, everything. But these three forces, Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti, बस इसमें सब पूरा बंधन है. इसमें से कोई निकल नहीं सकता. And those desires are intense. They just keep going. But it's a matter of taking a purview. Okay, if you have maximum amount of material wealth and this and enjoyments of different kinds, all right. Is the body going to remain forever young? Doesn't matter how much somebody has. The body will become old. It'll become ash. The gyan nahi hai kisi ko? Then the gyan needs to come that whatever I may have, first of all, it's not mine. It's been given to me, or it's come because of karma and because of punyam and whatever the reasons may be. Hai to sab Bhagwan ka. This body itself is given by Paramatma. And my foolish ego is thinking this is me. It all needs to be turned over beautifully in seva and bhakti. And once it is turned over, then this life that we have, it is a different kind of life. It is a life which is no longer entrapping anybody. See, our mind revolves around 25 to 100 people. Some family members, some friends, this and that. It's just chakkar mein hi chalta hai. That's it. There are 8.4 billion people in the world. We don't know anybody except for few people we know only. 8.4 billion people alive today, estimate. And our mind is stuck around 25, 30, 50, 100, 100, 200 people. Something like that. Very small number. And it's just trapped over there. Isn't that so? Think about it. This is all we think about. Just a small number of people. Continuously we think about them. Why? We need to think about them to some extent as a duty, as with love and affection. Leave it alone. Bhagavan in the Gita doesn't say you think about all this thing. He said keep your attention on me. Bhagavan mein vritti ka pravesh. With tremendous confidence and protection from inside. So this is where the Navada Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, all of this comes into the picture. So the enhanced connection is where there is a secure base. You understand? So the base meaning it is a foundation, a trusted anchor that supports exploration and resilience. We are exploring Adhyatma, Adhyatmic Jnana, but it begins by letting our vritti come out of the entrapments of the sansar. Sansar is, people are drowning inside the sansar. Bhavasagar mein usko doob jate hain. We need to learn the art of floating on the ocean, not drowning in the ocean. So many ships topple over and drown in the ocean. In the history, not maybe it doesn't happen now so much. Learn how to float on the ocean. And that is where the intense relationship with Prabhu, with God, with Ishtadevata, Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Krishna, Shankar Bhagwan, वो जो भगवान के जो अवतार है उनके साथ कनेक्शन, शक्ति के जो स्वरूप है उनके साथ कनेक्शन, that connection is Aadhar, it's a secure base. Because this entire body, it is a physiological mechanism, it is utterly temporary, it is a bubble. Because it is so temporary, so fragile, it is a bubble. And it is going to pop. For sure. There's no way anybody can avoid that. It's going to go. The body itself will go. Is par dhyan karna. This is a meditation. Bhagwan ke saath, when we're sitting in front of the murti, and bring this jnana inside, the truth. Hey Prabhu, you are real. I am yours. And that internal connection, then scriptural knowledge. Take Ramayana, for example, Ramcharitmanas. Go into it further. And by going into it further, so much love opens up. And then our interaction with the world is a Jivan Mukta interaction. Not a bound interaction. That's the difference. Do we still enjoy the world and its objects? We do. If we have to go to meet friends, we meet with them and enjoy with them. But there is a realization of the limitations of those experiences. It's not running away. It is realizing that they are a wave, urmi. They're limited. They come and go. We have a meal with somebody. We enjoy the meal, have the nice conversation, appreciate each other, love each other. It's a limited experience. It's a limited experience. Every experience in this sansar is limited. It is not continuous and akhanda, unbroken. Even our sadhana has limitations. You cannot be able to sit 24 hours just with a mala. Maybe somebody can do it at some point, but not 28 hours. At some point you have to do something else. We have to keep changing our activity. But it needs to change in the light of Jnana, in the light of Vignan, in the light of Param Tattva, Bhagwan, Paramatma. Once we know how to do this, as we are trying to open up every day, then our emotions, our feelings, everything becomes very steady. Fear goes away. We talked about that yesterday. Fear definitely goes away. Our emotions get regulation. Our health gets better. Our actual physical body will live longer, and it will live in a healthy way, because we're dropping all of those internal distractors, damaging phenomena. It has to go. Our diet gets better. Our experience of life gets better. And that doesn't mean we are not enjoying the experience. We are. enjoyment, but Bhagwan ka naam lena in the enjoyment. Sarva kriyama harinu naam. In every action, Bhagavad Chintan, our mind gets absorbed in Chintan. Now, of course, we talked about it before, there's Bhog. Bhog to hai, Jivan mein. If you have really tasty dishes, yes, you will enjoy the taste, but you cannot keep enjoying that. If I say that I like this meal, it's so very nicely, I can have 1 plateful, 2 platefuls, maybe even 3 platefuls if my stomach can handle. But after that, I cannot eat. I said I'll save it for later, but right now I cannot eat that. And even later on, then you would keep eating that over and over again. He said, I want something else now. I cannot eat this anymore. I love it, but I cannot eat it anymore. Think about that. It happens. Saturation. Every experience is like that. In the material world, भौतिक जगत में पूरा जगत ऐसा ही है. With family, with friends, even with family, with love. You love family, but you spend too much time together. Say, you know what? Let's keep. You do something else. You're with me all the time. It's too much. Yeah, I love you. Everything is okay. It's too much. Too much togetherness, as it is said. This is the nature of the world. Even with parents, you may love your parents and everything. Try to stay with them continuously. You'll feel like, get away from me now. Short and sweet. This is the master key. In the material world, all experiences are to be short and sweet. Otherwise, they will turn bitter and they will turn sour and they will turn into conflicts and problems. Don't get too familiar with anybody. Yes, if you have familiarity with your intimate partner, wo sab theek hai. You have familiarity with immediate family, but eventually they are on their own path also. Nobody's actually with anybody in the long run. You're only by yourself, traveling with others. It's a journey from the alone to the alone, as one of my old friends used to say. What an amazing statement that is. Familiarity to hoti hai with immediate family members. Watch out for entanglement. Then we insist, you should behave this way, you should do this, don't expect anything from anybody. Let them do what they have to do. Keep your functional modality intact, do what needs to be done as a seva, as bhakti, as duty, and remain free from everybody. Bandhan kisi ke bhi saath nahi rakhna. Particularly family members. That will cause millions of rebirths again and again. Family member ke saath prem rakhna, not bandhan. Atma ka koi family nahi hai. None. The Atma Tattva is Chaitanya, Vitirek Swarup. वो भगवान का घर है. Yasya Atma Shariram. Atma belongs to Paramatma. That's it. And not any particular Tattva underneath Prakriti. ये Prakriti पुरुष का जो line है, इसको cross कर देना है. That is Akshardham. So the family members we have, even I'm talking about myself, whatever family members, other people are there, we love them, care for them, wish well for them. Bandhan zero. Zero bandhan. None at all. Bandhan nahi hona chahiye antar mein. It will cause rebirth. That is why from Grahastha Ashram there is Vanprastha Ashram and then Sannyas Ashram. The rishis have laid it out. Grahastha Ashram mein anubhav hai bandhan ka. But Grahastha Ashram mein jo bandhan ka anubhav hai, isme don't get stuck in that. You get to experience what it is and then get to come out of it. Most people in Grahastha Ashram are trapped inside Grahastha Ashram. They can never get out of it. That causes rebirth. In the same family. Because of money, because of attachments, because of entanglements. How beautiful my child is. How beautiful my grandchild is. And but beauty is one thing. Bound, bandhan, wow. You start doing Ram Nam, all those images show up. So that is Maya. Isko leko phek dena. Throw it out completely. From the mind. That is how God will be realized. Otherwise, the rebirth. You want to go there, Bhagwan kehte hai, aapko wahan jana hai? You will become a small child in that person's home, or a bird, or a cat, or a dog. That's all. Ante yamati hi sagati. This universal principle from the Vedas. Ante yamati hi sagati. Kaha kya chahiye? Now be careful. This doesn't mean relationships are to be disturbed or anything like that. No, relationships are better in fact. The relationship is divine, divya relationship बन जाता है. बंधन निकल गया, relationship becomes divine. People say, how is that possible? Is it possible? Yes. Of course it's possible. Because there's love. When there is bondage, that is not love. That is ego. We think it is love. It is not. Prem is totally different dimension. You to love another person where there is no ahankar, that is loving God in the other person without any kind of judgment. Can we do that with family members? If we can do that, Bhagwan hi hai wo sab. Bhagwan ka hi swarup hai. If we cannot do that, bandhan ka koi paar nahi, apa. It just goes on. It's very simple to understand. Most people in our Sanatana Dharma don't talk about these things. They're afraid to. Even sadhus don't want to talk, because they say if we talk about these things, then our donations will stop. People will not come to satsang anymore. They don't talk about the real spirituality usually. Real adhyatma ye hai. And this is the promise to all of you this year. Without dilution, the truth is going to come out. No dilution. None. Zero dilution. It should be 100% pure divya satsang. And the reason for that, kisi ke saath kuch nahi chahta. We don't want anything from anybody. We just want to do seva. And want to present what has come in 10,000 years as it is. Without dilution, distortion, or any kind of limitation. No. जैसा है वैसा ही बताना है. जो सत्य है वो सत्य ही है. That is not anybody's opinion. So our relationship structure becomes divine. Divya banana isko. It's not leaving the home and running away somewhere. It is bringing divinity into the home. If you have a daughter or a son or a husband or a wife, can you see God inside that person? That is Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. Isme koi maya ka prashna hi nahi hai. But if Sachin is saying, my father did this and my mother did this and somebody did this and somebody is saying this, and I'm just stuck in that madness back and forth and talking to people about that. Ye kya hai? This is what life is for? Ye sab chhod do. If this is going on, drop this nonsense. Most of the people in the world are only interested in talking about these things, and when you stop talking about them, then they say, well, how come you're not feeding all this? No. Then they will say, okay, their context, because they will not know what to talk to you about. You don't need to talk about that nonsense stuff with them. Encourage them to change their behavior. If they don't want to change it, let them drown in the sansara. You don't worry about it. You cannot do anything. Somebody wants to drown, then go ahead and drown. What else is there? You cannot do anything. Even Bhagwan will not do anything about that. Because each jivatma has freedom. आपको इसमें ही डूबना है. काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मत्सर. बंधन में ही रहे तो बंधन में रहो. Who's there to force anybody out? Antakaran is trapped inside some person. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's an old friend, maybe it's a dog, maybe it's a cat, maybe it's who knows what it is. Maybe it's some money that is that somebody has inherited. Jahan bandhan hai, wahan hi gati. That's where we'll go. Bhagwan ke saath bandhan hai, Bhagwan ke paas hi jayenge. It's very simple. It's very simple. There's nothing complicated about this. Ye pura satya hai. And to bring that connection with Paramatma, one has to have protection. This is why the Navaran mantra, do that 108 times. We're doing it now every day. Very good. Aim Bij mantra karna. Very good. Namah Shivaya mantra karna. So that our path is protected. Because most of the people in the world, it's not just people, it's so many other beings are there too. They are trapped and they don't want anybody to go outside that trap. They want to keep the Jivatma trap. I myself have gone through extreme difficulty in this. But you have to be strong. You cannot give up on that thing. Difficulty in what the people around you don't want you to go in that direction. It's a long story. And then so many things can happen, but don't give up. And whatever may happen, isme kuch nahi hoga. That's why Shiv mantra and Devi ka jo mantra is, they will protect us on this path. They are the only ones who can protect us. Nobody else can. Because they are directly in charge of the Brahmand. and Brahmand is a jail. There, the Durga Devi is the jailer. इसीलिए हम चंडी पाठ करते, नवारण महामंत्र करते. Once you connect with Durga Devi, then nobody can touch you in this sansar. किसी की भी ताकत नहीं है. That is why we need that protection. When you are trying to go higher level, you have to be protected. You know, it's like an astronaut. He has to be trained and put the astronaut suit, and so many things are needed. The breathing and everything has to be completely okay. Then you can go into outer space. Cannot just go in wearing t-shirt and shorts. ऐसी बात है. तो भगवान के पास जाना है, डेफिनेटली हम जा सकते हैं. प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए इसके लिए. Protection is offered by Bhagwan Shankar. Namah Shivaya mantra. Shiv mantra. Very, very, very important. That is a protection. And with that, Devi mantra. Navaran Maha mantra. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Vicha. 108 times we can do it. We're doing it every day now in the morning satsang. That will provide full protection. And then with that, Bhagwan ki jo ishta hai, Ram ji hai, Krishna ji hai, शिव जी है, जो इष्ट देवी है एक्सेट्रा, जो इष्ट है उनकी अखंड उपासना करना, सबके साथ प्रेम रखना, गीता जी का अभ्यास करना. दिस इज हाउ वी विल प्रोग्रेस. एंड व्हाट विल हैपन, यू विल सी फ्रॉम इनसाइड द ग्रोथ. आनंद का अनुभव, आनंद ओपन्स, आनंदम. Experiences of life continue, but they are not binding anymore. They are there. They have their उसका एक अनुभव है. जैसे हस्बैंड वाइफ रिलेशनशिप में इंटीमेसी होती है, सेक्सुअलिटी होती है, वो एक उसका भी एक पार्ट है. यू कैन नॉट जस्ट बी रनिंग आफ्टर दैट ओनली. एवरीथिंग हैज इट्स पार्ट इन लाइफ, फाइन, बट इवेंचुअली यू रियलाइज इट्स ऑल लिमिटेड, एंड देन इवेंचुअली दैट गोज फर्दर into a much greater development of akhanda bhakti. Then these limited things, then you stop playing with the small toys anymore. That's the way it goes, you know. It's like these small kids, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, they're playing with those small cars and crying and shouting and screaming because it's like that. Balak ni ramat jiwa sansar che. You stop crying over these things and then grow up. It is called maturity, spiritual maturity, right? So these are some things to keep in mind. These are just some reminders. These are things that we know, right? We know all this already. But to remember this, to think about this, to really embrace it and recognize. Limited experience, short and sweet. The gulab jam anubhav experience that I always like to give. Kitne gulab jam khaunge? Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, but that's it. Cannot eat more than that. Short and sweet. You know, it happens, right? With any sweet, if you eat too much of it, you begin to dislike it. I cannot eat more of this now. I don't even want to see that now. Keep it. So this is one more point. Do not create a wave of dislike for the Panch Vishayas. That's what we do. By overstimulation, we said, I don't like it anymore. Now we've created a contradiction inside. Keep it short, keep it limited, keep the desire active. Don't exhaust the desire. Because then you can go back to it again later on sometime in a fresh way, rather than an exhausted wave of the mind. We'll talk more about what that means exactly. I need more time to talk about that. We don't have time today for that. Right? So, thoda manan kijiye. Short mein itna hi samajhna. Don't oversaturate. In fact, it's better to remain under the saturation point. That is the best thing. Then you can enjoy the rest of your life, because the Shakti is getting damaged at the oversaturation level. Even at the saturation level, there's a lot of loss of energy there too. So remain underneath that. That is mastery. And we'll talk about that later on, what exactly that means. All right, so we'll get into this tomorrow. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamande Viche. Om Glom Hum Klim Jum Saha. Jwalaye Jwalaye Jwala Jwala. Prajwala Prajwala Im Rim Klim Chamande Viche. Jwala Ham Sam Lamksham. Phat Swaha. Durge Durge Rakshini. Tha Tha Swaha. Shri Durga Arpanamastu. Om Rim Swaha. Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu.